So it looks like something is coming to a close at the beginning of the month. You've got 10 of Swords here. So 10 of Swords is the end of a cycle. 10 is a number that shows the completion of a cycle. And Swords represent thoughts or our mentality. So sometimes Swords can represent a certain way of thinking. In this case, this way of thinking is becoming outdated. It's becoming, you can see in the picture that it's actually killing the man. It's something that's over and done. And each of these swords, the swords represent mentality and thoughts. So this is a way that is ending. It's a way that needs to be released. And what it's telling me in the reverse position is that you may have a tough time releasing negative thoughts. That's, 10 of Swords represents negative thinking because it is actually taking the life out of the person, and it actually is like destroying the person in the figure in the image. So in the reverse position, it's saying you may be resisting the natural end of a way of thinking or the natural end to something. You may be resisting. It may be hard for you to let go of negative thinking at the beginning of December. But I do see that you have some peace coming to you, or this is Empress, which represents abundance and growth and fertility and everything that's prosperous. You can see how she, there's a waterfall in the background. She's got these sheaves of wheat pictured. She's got a flower that's in full bloom. Empress is when everything grows and blooms. So it's a wonderful, beautiful card to open the month of December. What it tells me is that once you're able to release this pattern of thinking, there's a new dawn or new day that is born. Empress represents fertility. She represents, sexual satisfaction. She represents growth, abundance, and she's in line here with the world. So it tells me that in some ways December is going to look like a very powerful full month for you, Scorpio. This card, Temperance, means, taking it easy, doing things in a moderate way, and being at peace, having the wisdom to do things in a balanced way, having serenity. This card in the reverse position, coupled with Devil here, tells me that you have a tendency or likelihood to overdo it at the beginning of December. Devil can often represent surrendering ourselves to our desires or our passions or even addictions, things that hold us in patterns that we're not necessarily happy about. And Temperance means moderation in the upright position and calmness and serenity. In the reverse position, it means, it may mean going overboard or not doing things in a balanced way, not finding that happy medium. So I'm going to read these two cards for you at the beginning of December as going overboard a little bit. Be careful of drinking too much or any addictions that you may have. Don't let them run amok. At the beginning of September, it says that you may go to excess at the beginning of December. So be careful for that, Scorpio. I see in the middle of the month that you have 9 of Coins here. This is a card of luxury. It's a card of having self-discipline and bringing money to yourself. And enjoying the riches and the sort of fine life of having saved up money, having worked hard for it, bringing that money to your own self. Because of this is in the reverse position, this tells me that you may not have the savings set aside for the luxurious items that you had hoped. It tells me that you may not be able, if you're buying gifts this season, you may not have the high ticket items available to you that you thought you might have. That's okay. I mean, you have, the fact that this card is showing up shows that there's a certain amount of luxury, a certain amount of money that you're going to have access to. But because it's in the reverse position, it tells me that it's either in shadow or delay. And that means that you may not have as much access. You may not have as much savings saved up as you had hoped to at this point. Or you may not be able to afford the large ticket luxury items that you are interested in. This World card, World is such a positive card. It's a major arcana. It's like when the universe opens up to you, and you can see in this, it's like when everything lines up, the emotional side of things represented by the lion, the physical side of things represented by the bull here, the spiritual side of things represented by this eagle, and the mental side of things represented by the human. Everything lines up, and you get this wreath of laurels, and you're surrounded by the universe is basically engulfing you, basically saying, here you are in all of your glory, here you are in all of your splendor, all the world opens itself up. You are one with the world. This in the reverse position, I never really read this card in a negative way because it's such a positive card, kind of like the Empress or the Sun card. But it tells me that it may just be in shadow or delay. It's trying to come to the surface. There's really good times ahead for you, but they're just kind of like sitting right below the surface. They're just waiting for you to step into them. And because this card is surrounded by two money cards, it makes me wonder if the fact that it's in reverse has something to do with money or resources. This card, 9 of coins, is your own finances, and 2 of coins is joint finances or juggling money. So I think what I'm getting off of this is that you have the possibility to be really happy and fulfilled, but that you might be getting sidetracked by having to juggle money, having to balance things out, and you may not have as much as you had kind of hoped to have at this point in the year. But don't let that stop your satisfaction with things, because the world really doesn't care about material possessions. The world is just happy because everything's kind of going great, and there's fulfillment regardless of material wealth. And King of Swords here says that you have someone on your side who's making good decisions or giving you good advice. It could be especially in regards to this money. Somehow I'm getting the sense that this could be like a father figure who is giving you some money to add to your own money, and that you guys might be in a joint contract. 2 of coins can sometimes be contracts or joint finances, money that's held in common in some way. And King of Swords always makes reasonable decisions. He is the king of the mental realm, as you can see is represented by the sword here. He always makes wise decisions. Sometimes I call him my King Solomon card. Sometimes I refer to King of Cups as that card, but often King of Swords. So looking at things in a moderate way, again, being just, thinking things through, making good decisions. Often King of Swords can be represented by an air sign like Aquarius or Libra or Gemini. So if any of those signs are showing up for you, especially someone with a position of authority, try to listen to what they have to say, because they generally have pretty good judgment. And he's looking on with this, 2 of coins energy. So it could be someone who's saying, you might have to manage a budget. You might have to be careful with your finances, not spend all of it if you're going to enjoy riches later, which it looks like you will. You've got a 10 of coins showing up at the end of the month of December. So this may be this is financial gain. So this may be, sometimes it's depicted as inheritance. This could be gifts that you receive. This could just be enjoying the benefit of having made wise decisions in the middle of the month, having listened to this King of Swords person who has good counsel and good advice. Because something is going to change for you at the end of the month, Scorpio. This Tower card is appearing for you. And what Tower means is sudden and dramatic change, unexpected change. Now, some people see this card and it makes them worry, but it's not always change for the worse. Sometimes it can be change for the better. But what it does mean is that it's going to kind of come out of nowhere. It's going to be unexpected, and it's going to be very dramatic and very sudden change. Things are going to go out of their normal scheme of things. Hierophant in reverse tells me that whatever had been traditional before or conventional, that's being thrown in reverse. So things are going to look very different after this Tower happens. You may be doing things you may have to do things in an unconventional way. Hierophant represents tradition, spirituality, conventionality, doing things in a tried and true way as they have always been done. But Hierophant in the reverse position says you're willing to take chances, you're willing to do things in a different way, you're willing to do things that are outside of the norm, but that could be actually full of financial gain for you, because this card, 10 of Coins, represents security, stability. We see the couple in the castle. And 10 of Coins usually means inheriting money that has been accumulated over time through good decisions. So, again, if you have cancel coming to you from an air sign, especially in the middle of the month, Scorpio, listen to that person, because it's going to have good effects. When things turn topsy-turvy, you might, at the end of the month, you might have to do things in an untraditional way, but it might pay off for you. You might end up, living somewhere, or you might benefit, your home front might benefit from whatever unconventional decisions that you make, or listening to the good advice that's given to you in the middle of the month. I would say be careful of, making snap judgments or trying to force or push things. Chariot is a card that is, and I'll say especially towards the end of the month, Chariot is a card that is focused on winning. Chariot is focusing on victory, success, crossing that finish line. He's usually very intuitive about what it takes to win that race, to make good decisions, to make balanced decisions. But with him in the reverse position, sometimes he can be hell-bent on winning at all costs, and hell-bent on victory and, domination. So I see one of the things that I'm seeing, especially with this line, Scorpio, is you don't want to do something at all costs that kind of, don't be so obsessed is a good word because Devil can be a very obsessive card, and so can Chariot. They're obsessed with what they're focusing on. I think this King of Swords air card, this voice of reason, listen to the voice of reason here, that is going to help you through things. That's going to help you from making poor decisions and putting yourself in a position where you feel trapped. So I guess there's a lot of good stuff going on here for you, Scorpio, in the month of December. A lot of really positive cards like growth, abundance, the Empress, the World, everything's unlocking for you. 10 of Coins is financial gain. This is dramatic change, but it could be change for the good that leads you to do unconventional things. Be careful that you don't go overboard, especially at the beginning of the month. Temperance is balance, so don't get unbalanced or thrown off balance and give in to some of your addictions or fears or shadow side. And be careful that you're not making decisions based on just victory, domination, and will. Be sure, especially in the middle of the month, to listen to the voice of reason. You have a new moon in your house of the teacher, Scorpio. The new moon is in Sagittarius on December 11th, and that's your second house of financial assets, of possessions, of things that you own. So if you want to acquire something, if you want something that new to come into your life as far as assets or possessions, I would say set your intentions around this middle of the month, the new moon on December 11th, and then it may come to you quickly by the end of the month, even with this 10 of Coins featured. But it's a good time to set new intentions, and it's also in your second house, because Sag is the next house up from you. It's your teacher house. And so there may be some new lesson, or if you want to move to a new level of understanding, especially regarding material possessions and assets, December is a good time to begin that. Scorpio. So you may want to focus on that. And then also in our later part of the month, on December 25th, on Christmas Day, we have a full moon in Cancer. So that's a time where you can release old, outdated patterns of things, old, outdated ways of doing things. When things come to a culmination or a head, it's time when you can let go of some old patterns. So I'll write in the comments below what house that is in for you, so you can release things that are related to that house. But that is a full moon in Cancer on Christmas Day, December 25th. So that's my reading for you, Scorpio. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them below in the comment section. I love replying to comments.